You have now arrived at Stadium and Gale.
Snap, the kick, it's been blocked again! Oh my! It's been blocked again! He's going to heave one deep down the field. It's going to be to the goal line. It's going to be gone! It's a touchdown! And the Gators have won the game! Derik Queen! Oh my! I can't believe what I just saw! Dropping back to throw, pops and fires the ball over the middle. It's Derik! It's Derik! Got a touchdown! Derik's got a touchdown! Oh man! Derik's got a touchdown! Hands it off to Harvin. He comes back. Say goodbye.
Ahmad Black, in his final game as a Gator, takes it all the way home and sends Urban out a winner.
You have now arrived at Stadium and Gale.
Boys and girls, ladies and gents, welcome to another episode of Stadium and Gale. It's your boy Corey.
It's Dan.
Delatorre.
And your boy Jay Scar.
What up, 2-5?
What it do, baby? What's good, y'all boys?
Vibing, man. Vibing. Football team is off of spring break. I got spring break vibes going on. Had a very chill weekend. Not too much, man. Just dad shenanigans. I don't want to bore y'all with my dad life, man. Dan.
Yeah. No, I did some stuff. Let's see.
Yeah,
what did I
what's
do? Well, so my day started on Friday with, middle of the day. Got a nice little package from these guys. This is an old master. I know this is a audio medium as well. So got my tickets to the Masters. So excited for that. That's in a couple weeks. Be leaving 2 weeks from tomorrow. Let's see. I went and watched the game on Friday night at a place called Hattrick's here. Great vibe, big UF crowd there. Watched the game on Sunday and then went out on the boat afterwards to celebrate that. But I want to turn some people on to a musical artist that I found on Saturday night. Easy, Nick. There is a drummer that is also a singer, but he plays like top 40 but famous stuff. His name is T.L. Jenkins, Jentgens. Fantastic. So he performs a lot in the Tampa, Sarasota, St. Pete area. So if you are in the area, I encourage you to go check him out. Usually a little bit outside of like what I would go see. Highly impressed. So incredible musician.
He plays drums and sing at the same time?
Yeah, full of energy, lights, all of that stuff. There's probably 150 people there. I think tickets was like $15-$18. I mean, but a hell of a show, dude. Played for 2.5 hours.
Like what is he? What kind of drum?
He's playing a set. Yeah, the big drum set.
That's crazy. Insane.
Yeah, no intermission. He's got the mic hanging. He's got the music videos in the background, but everything from like Garth Brooks to Korn to Bruno Mars to Eminem and all of it. Dude, it's incredible.
Garth Brooks to Bruno Mars is crazy range. That's range.
It's not. So again, if you're in the area, I don't know the guy. I got asked last minute to go. Incredible show. So shout out to T.L. Jenkins. Tough last name.
Yeah, man, you gotta bring that.
Yeah. But that was my week. All in all, great weekend.
Yeah, I had a pretty chill weekend, man. Kind of getting over. I caught a little flu this weekend, so I was kind of sick for the first couple of days, but took my talents to the beach, got in that water a little bit, let the sun get to me, so I'm feeling a little better now. But I had a pretty chill weekend for the most part. Like Corey said, I had a pretty dad weekend. I don't want to bore y'all with my dad weekend.
Shout out dad life. I mean, Gator basketball was a big thing, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Nick, you was out there.
Spent my weekend. My football gave me an off week, and I spent it in Raleigh. Drove back last night. My thought process was I can leave at 5 p.m. It's a 9-hour drive when you factor in the Elon charging. So got home at like 3:30.
Okay.
But I would have left at like 9 a.m. today and gotten here like right in time for the show. So I was like, you know what? Let me be rested and ready for Stadium and Gale on Monday night, same corner. But they took care of us. My goodness. Florida, the access I have now is incredible with Florida Victoria, but sitting courtside.
Not on the right mic.
Me or you?
Me. No, go ahead.
Great listeners.
There you go.
Sitting like courtside. Zach Alberverdi, shout out to him. Fumbelina had a ball come towards him, just dropped the bag, dropped the ball.
Oh, man.
Got to see who the real athletes are on press row. Tough one for Zach. Sorry, Zach. But yeah, really cool. Walt hit that dagger 3 right in front of us. I saw a replay. And I'm kind of like watching as the play goes back. And you can kind of like in the bottom right hand of the screen, you see Graham Hall just like put his hands on his head. Yeah. Lean back, like, what the heck? Yeah. Well, it's up here with his hair. But yeah, really cool, man. I haven't covered a lot of basketball. That was actually my first tournament game that I've been to.
That's dope. I'm actually jealous, but we can
always find to cover those games. So I will not be in San Francisco.
Okay.
But if the boys go 2-0 out in Cali, I will be in San Antonio.
I'm about to slide out there with you, my boy.
Churros with Chuck on the river.
I need a reason.
I'm telling you right now, we make it that far, I am dead, my boy. I don't care if I'm watching it in a bar down the street.
Well, yeah, I'm in there like
I miss some like celebrations. I didn't celebrate right, bro. Like I had a good time when we won a long time ago, but I ain't really celebrated right. This time I'm gonna celebrate it real righteously, man. Right there in San Antonio with the boys.
You gonna have like a steak?
I might. I might, bro. I ain't gonna.
Boys have to win.
Out of the rim.
The Gator boys have to win. Get some red meat back in your life.
Pause, man.
Yeah, easy, man.
Yeah. That was tough. My bad.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to you, Nick. I forgot that you had talked about maybe going. I'm sure you were busy and everything else. One of the best restaurants I've ever had in my life was up there. So if you ever find yourself up there, let me know because I've got a spot for you. But it's a Laotian restaurant. I forgot what it's called. It's going to come to me in a second anyway. So any of our listeners that are in Raleigh, Beatamanda, one of the best restaurants I've ever have been to in my entire life. But anyway, Nick, you were up there. Let's talk a little bit about basketball. Before we do that, if you're watching on YouTube, hit the like and subscribe button. Feel free to comment. We're going to try to, get to as many comments as we can during the show. Obviously, super chat will. If you were watching, pull out your iPhone or your Android. If you could go just rate us on your favorite podcast app. We had to change the feed, I don't know, about a year and a half ago. So we lost all of those ratings. So it would mean a lot if you go ahead and do that. We had a couple haters in there. Give us a 1 star. So trying to bring that back up. So if you could do that. And with that, Corey, let's give a shout out to Brunt Insurance.
One time for the great folks at Brunt Insurance and Financial Services. We appreciate you guys powering us over here at Stadium and Gale. Anything you need insured from the Panhandle to the Keys. Matter of fact, the entire Southeast. If you need insurance or you may want to get a lower quote on insurance, it's absolutely free to visit bruntinsurance.com or give them a call at 954-589-2204. I've been a loyal customer of Greg for 5-6 years. It's been a minute. Smooth sellings, great customer service, very hands-on, not a bunch of robots and automations. You get, that real small business feel, man. 954-589-2204, Brunt Insurance. Big policies.
Greg, what it do, baby?
Now we got a jingle.
Yeah, now we got a jingle. I missed the days of jingles. You know what I mean? Like the J.G. Wentworth ones, and man. Anyway, all right, guys. Well, let's get into the show. We're gonna have Neil Blackman from the Florida Basketball Hour join us. We tried to get him and Eric on at the same time. Eric had another conflict, but Gators do secure 2 victories in Raleigh. First round on Friday against Norfolk State. They won 95-69. Gators took a very early decisive lead. Other than about an 11-0 run to end the first half, the Gators looked great. Not much that you can expect energy-wise and everything else when you're up 35 points or so in the first half. Walter Clayton led the team with 23 points. That led them to a Sunday noon game or noon 10 game against the two-time defending national champion UConn Huskies. Very formidable UConn team, well coached, even though acts like a petulant child. Both teams tied 31 at halftime. The Gators do go down and then ultimately rally late in the game. Walter Clayton scored 13 of his 23 points in the final 8 minutes. And then that critical three-pointer with about 2.5 minutes left in the game helped the Gators seal that victory 77-75. Guys, the Gators will be heading to their first Sweet 16 in a long time, and they will be out in San Francisco, California, where they will play Maryland on Thursday at 7:36 p.m. Eastern time. So, thoughts, boys?
Well, let me get a couple from boots on the ground thoughts before Neil gets in here. None of this his nose. One, I was present for this. I was able to walk in before, there's a cool down period, but I'm not really a journalist anymore.
Hold on one second, Nick. For everybody that's listening, the question is, Nick, were you present for the locker room headbutt?
He definitely headbutt that boy.
He did not headbutt him. That was he did not. I don't think there was contact made.
Yeah, he would have fooled me. I thought he connected.
Cool. I kind of walked in after Todd, and the edit that Florida Gators MBK put out started at the end of what Todd opened up with, and you heard a big go. You've probably heard Tom Brady say it a lot of times towards the end of his career, a little LFG. It was a loud LFG from Todd. The locker room erupts. Really cool. I know that a lot of people don't have these experiences, so it's I'm not trying to brag about it, but just trying to bring you there. The environment and the vibe right after that game was just incredible. And then after both games, right after, were incredible. And then just talking to the mindset of these guys. After Norfolk, I'm asking them questions, and it's we weren't good enough. We didn't. I'm and they were basically talking about the 11-0 run, and Todd went full Will Muschamp, punched a whiteboard, and they're up double digits, at halftime. And it's really cool to see. They all have their number one seed with an underdog mentality, and they've all said this, Belmont, Iona, FAU, Marshall, Washington State. He goes, none of us were highly recruited. We all came from some small school. Nobody wanted to take a chance on us. And they have, despite being a team that's only lost 4 games all year, and despite being a number one seed, they have this mentality of we have to earn everything. And we are still proving ourselves, and we haven't proved anything yet. Micah Hanlogden straight up said, we knew we were a championship team before the year, and we're just enjoying being able to prove it to you guys. The confidence, we're bordering confidence, cockiness, but there's also still that edge of we weren't happy beating Norfolk by what? I think they covered the spread because they
just barely missed the spread.
Well, backdoor cover for the Spartans.
Trust me,
59. I think the spread was 28.5. I think at one point it got up to 30. The Norfolk State coach did mention in his post-game presser that nobody laughed at. I thought it was hilarious. He's I told you the Gators weren't 30 points better than us.
It's you made it on your agenda to cover that spread, brother. He was y'all tried us with that 30 right there. Let me show you so.
Yeah, he it's funny. Eric said hey, this shouldn't be a 15 seed when we had him on before.
16, yeah.
16, sorry, yeah. And was interesting. It's an HBCU. The Spartan mascot, a black mascot. I looked at him I don't know if That's factually correct, historically correct, but I appreciate it.
I don't know if a plush alligator with,
I don't know,
with
man.
a hat on,
I mean, I
or
don't
a
think,
dress
I
on
don't think
is-
alligators
No,
are
but
walking on two legs. And
I get new history news every day, bro. You just never know, man. Maybe they
Hey,
got some news we didn't get here, bro. Who knows, man?
But-
They get the knowledge.
But I did talk to I
Smarty.
was watching their coach do his media, like with the local Virginia media, and I said to him after, I was like, "Hey, man, like this is a really good team. You guys played tough. Look forward to like seeing you guys back here. Really cool guy." He said to his media, he was like, "All right, we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys back in Virginia. He's like, and then we'll see you back here at the same time next year." Just like kind of like what Eric said, he's built his team to win their league. And then it's tough when you're a mid-major, a small school like that, having to go up against a team not only as talented as Florida, but also playing as confidently and as well as Florida has been this year, especially down the stretch.
Yeah, we've got Neil Blackman here. Obviously, it'd be
Right.
a fantastic addition to this conversation. Neil, brother.
Yeah, you got to slide over to your
Yeah,
right
you
a
got to
little bit.
slide
There you
over.
go,
There
bro.
you go. There you are.
Yeah.
I want to see that beautiful mug. All right, Neil. So we're just getting into it. Oh, geez. We're just getting into the conversation here. I think Nick's playing around with things that he shouldn't. So Neil, thanks for joining with Florida Basketball Hour. We had your co-host Eric on last week to kind of preview these two games against Norfolk and then either against UConn or Oklahoma. The Gators obviously take the Norfolk UConn route, squeeze a game against UConn out there at the end, show a relentless effort to keep fighting. I know there's some other teams in the past, decade or so that would have thrown in the towel, but this team didn't. So, Neil, from your perspective, give us your rundown from this past weekend.
Well, I thought the first 15 minutes of the Norfolk game were kind of as good as they can play, and then the middle really as good as anybody can play, right? And then I think I wouldn't say the middle 15 against UConn were that bad. Like, I think when you look at the box score, like UConn just played at an incredibly high level. They played their best game of the season. And then, it's 61-56 with 4 minutes to go. And Walter Clayton has, Florida scores. Walter Clayton has the ugly turnover. And then I feel like the Will Richards steal right before the media timeout, like just fired the whole team up. And I'm not saying that they don't win if that doesn't happen. But it was interesting. Like those two guys in particular, really all three of them, but Richard and Elijah Martin are just so unflappable. And, I was texting back and forth some staff members today, and they were like, man, we got in that huddle at the under four. And like Elijah Martin was just like, we're going to go get this game. It's our time. Our time to win this game. And clearly Walter Clayton, who, is a little quieter than those two guys just generally. He agreed with that assessment, right? The three that he made to go up 62-61 was NBA caliber. But the one that he made to go up 70-64, that really was the first time Florida fans, I think, could breathe.
Yeah.
I mean, that was absolutely stupid shot. Like he came around, like, first of all, UConn top blocked that screen. So they blew up the dribble handoff action for Walt that was supposed to get him a better shot. So one of the things Florida does when people top block the screens or blitz those dribble handoffs is they tell Walt or Elijah to stretch them out to go further around the perimeter. Well, UConn had adjusted to that adjustment. Like they had two defenders that knew he was going to drag that out and that fought over the next screen. So he has two guys basically on his hip. And then if you watch film on him, he can make that one where he kind of falls left a little bit. But this time he's fallen right and backwards. He just made it anyway. I mean, look, Florida's had some incredible shot-making players come through this program. I'm not old enough to have anything on Vernon Maxwell but the videotape. But Brad Beal wasn't the shot maker that Walt was when he was 19 in his one and done year at Florida. Now that came, right, but it wasn't then. Nobody on that 2014 team, in fact, like that probably was their biggest deficiency, was they didn't have that player. And then in 2006 and 2007, I don't really know, like Torian wasn't breaking anybody down really. Humphrey was a guy who could shoot. Horford, Noah, there wasn't that guy either. Like Mike Rosario is probably the closest thing that Florida had to that type of shot quality, and he was a third-team All-SEC guy. Like, it's ridiculous how good Walt Clayton is.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how much people I don't even know how much I appreciated that until maybe the last few weeks of the season when he had those bad few games and Todd challenged him. Like, Todd went in to a practice, and it's not necessarily Todd's style to rip into a guy in front of, like, he'll rip into the team, but he did pull him aside. He was like, you've got to play better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have got to play better. This 3-4 turnovers, 3 for 13, 4 turnovers, that's got to stop. That's not you. It's time to go. And yeah, I mean, Walter Clayton, Will Richard, and Elijah Martin are obviously the reason that they won that game yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
But Walter Clayton's ability to make just absolutely stupid shots is why UConn went home. And it's why, like, you can hate Danny Hurley, all that drama that you want.
I do. Yeah.
And I get it.
Dan's like, yes. Yeah, no, I absolutely
100%. Like, I get all that. But Danny Hurley knew that a lot of people in the country picked Florida to win the national title. And he had won the last 2 national titles. And he put together the best game plan he's put together all season.
Mm-hmm.
And he got his guys to play their guts out.
Facts.
And when he said, we lost with honor, like, it's hard to argue with that point. Like,
yeah,
played awesome. And Walter Clayton was just the best player in the building.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
I asked Walt about that. It was almost like, but it was like that.
You got it.
To beat the champ, you have to be the champ. You have to beat the champ, and it was almost like that wasn't the last 2 UConn teams. They've lost a ton of talent, a ton of the guys that won those back-to-back championships. But it was almost like they didn't blink. Florida, I was in the middle of looking up the stats, but like Todd wants Florida to shoot 25 threes a game, at the low bar. And I looked up and like late in the second half, and they were at like 18.
Yeah,
and because UConn wasn't allowing them, they were fighting through screens. Florida, like you said, had to go to those like dribble handoffs. And to me, it was just kind of like at no point did UConn look like, oh, this game is out. We're playing a team that's better than us. We are the underdog. They never looked like that. And I think it was kind of just it speaks to the culture after the whining. It speaks to the culture that Coach Hurley has built up there in Stores. And it was a team that was ready to go 15 rounds and stand in the middle of the ring and just trade jabs and trade hooks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Hurley definitely out-coached Golden. Talent won out, right? And our guys, like, they just turned into some dogs and did what they had to do to get that win. But from the switching on defense, like we were in a headlock in an old-fashioned pickle, man.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't figure it out on either end of the court. They had our number on tape. So Hurley definitely brought that team ready, preparation-wise, game plan-wise. A lot of things I thought we had advantages at with like big men in the paint, rebounds. They out-hustled us. Like, they came in prepared, man. What do you think our fix is? I think 2 games in a row, our defense has struggled with the switching. Like, what's going to happen there?
So I think Florida's defense is better when they sit in the gaps and switch a little less. And I think we saw that at the SEC tournament. Like, we saw Florida switch less against Tennessee. Just their strategy against Tennessee, who runs some similar stuff to UConn, was like, you just have to refuse to get screened. And like, that sounds, kind of simple, but it's obviously very hard when somebody is as good at screening as Tennessee or UConn. But just their ability to blow up some of Tennessee's screening actions and then to stay in the gaps and like keep Zakai Ziegler from getting dribble penetration, keep Mark Sears from killing them with dribble penetration in the semis. For 2 games, Florida switched a little less, stayed at the gaps more. I think they thought we haven't – this is just – and this is speculation. I knew they were going to switch a lot because I had chatted with people, but I didn't know that they were going to not kind of sit in the gaps as much. And I think the idea was they don't have anybody necessarily that can kill us off the dribble. So we don't have to worry about the gaps as much. And so we can switch off-ball actions more. But Florida, UConn is ready for that. That's what people do. And so I think Florida kind of just has to be Florida a little bit against Maryland. The good news is that Maryland has Jacoby Gillespie, who can get into the paint and who can attack you downhill. And I think that Florida probably switches less as a result because they're going to want to corral and contain dribble penetration. And like you look at Florida's best defensive performances this year, they're almost all against teams where Todd and John Andrew Jack are scared because that's who coordinates the defense, those two. When they're scared of getting beat by dribble penetration and downhill north-south drivers, they sit in the gaps more and they switch less. And I don't think it's a coincidence that their best defensive performances, like we've reached the point of 36 games now, right? Their best games are all like that. So I think that's the fix defensively. Offensively, UConn was the first team that sort of adjusted to the adjustment. So when you top block those ball screens at the top, or when you blitz or you hedge like Missouri did, or Alabama tried to do, Alabama top blocked everything. But when you blitz a ball screen, there's going to be backdoor cuts. Well, what UConn did is they top blocked a ball screen, but they pre-rotated everything so that they had a guy, like kind of a low man hold guy, who just kind of sits down around the rim. And that's how they were able to affect so many layup attempts and disrupt back cuts. Like they were the first team to adjust to Florida's adjustment. They have the personnel to do that now. Liam McNeely, McDonald's All-American, real long. Samson Johnson, not a particularly great player, but long and a champion, Maryland, that's not how they guard. Like those back cuts are going to be there again. It'll be interesting to see what Kevin Willard does. He may just rely on his big men and say, yeah, you guys go ahead and try to back up. We're going to disrupt everything at the rim. They've done most of the year, but, I don't know. I don't think that they're not a type of team that defends like UConn does. Like they're going to play man a lot more and switch a lot less.
Neil, I want to ask how important – I mean, obviously, Elijah Martin has had a couple of great games, and I think on Sunday it really showed his experience. How important do you think for this roster now? I know they have an older roster right now, but how important do you think his experience, going deep into the Final Four with FAU is to this team from a leadership perspective, experience perspective, and just ultimately being able to lock in at the task at hand?
I mean, I think Amart has been the most essential player on this team outside of your first team All-American.
Right.
He's just so consistent from his approach to his, let me go guard their best guy on the perimeter all the time. I mean, Solo Ball had a nightmarish game yesterday, mostly because he's getting chased around. Even the 3 UConn made at the end of that 3. And, I mean, he made it with Elijah Martin playing pitch-perfect defense. He just happened to make a 28-foot shot. He had a little revenge for the Aberdeen shot at the end of the Tennessee game from the hoops gods. But whatever. I mean, I think Amart, just the way that you can scout around him, too, defensively, who's going to get primary responsibility on somebody's best perimeter score. It makes your scout a lot easier. And then he just fights for everything. Like there's never going to be any quitting that guy. Look, if Florida wins 2 more games, he's going to make his second NCAA all-regional team. I think that's pretty much locked up after that performance against UConn. Yeah. Assuming he plays decent in these next 2. And what a story that would be. And I mean, I just think in terms of the competitiveness level of this team, it was already going to be high. Condo's competitive, Clayton's competitive. It's not like they weren't that already. It's that just pick up to the next level. Facing adversity, that's something that Amart's done.
I think that started too. Just watching some of the videos. Shout out to Randy Mickens with Learfield. He's done a really good job with those Gator boys. I think the 3 episodes they put out. And it seemed to start right away, like coming in and when they're running around campus, with a rope, or when they're running up stadium stairs. It seemed like whether it was because he was older or because he was coming off of a really good run with FAU and that kind of respect was already there for what he had done. It seemed like he stepped right in and brought that, you and I have talked privately, that dog mentality that he has, kind of brought that right away. Like as soon as workouts started in the fall, back during football season, when the basketball team is really working out and getting all their work in, it seems like he already started to bring that culture. And then another thing that I mentioned too, you can probably speak to, is they all keep telling me they're underdogs. I'm like, you're the number 1 seed. You're a number 1 seed. And then they remind me, like, talking to Mike, he's like, I started at Marshall. I was like, dude, I completely forgot. You are in my mind committed to Florida out of high school. And you talk about Belmont and Iona, and even Todd said, like, listen, I'm a mid-major guy. From playing to coaching, they just have this underdog mentality, which I think is unique for a team that has lost 4 times, and is a number 1 seed. And that seems to be something that, we always talk about the proverbial chip on your shoulder, but it seems like they are believing in it, and they've got dip on the other shoulder, and they're just eating.
You left him speechless.
Yeah. No. I mean, look, I think I had a lag. Look, Amart has talked to me about thinking that that they feel like it's a privilege to be at Florida. Like Amart used the word gift. Like what a gift it is to get to play and compete in the SEC was what he told me. And he said they think that because they don't have a guy that's really supposed to be here except for Zay Brown. Zay Brown is the only 4-star recruit on the entire roster. So, none of them thought they would be playing SEC basketball. Now, Walt, maybe if Walt gives up football and starts playing earlier, he rises recruiting rankings. That's what Pitino has always said about him. But there wasn't ever a guy. There's not a guy, not even Alex Condon, who's a projected late 1st-round draft pick, probably coming back, but still guy who's going to get drafted in the 1st round once he leaves. He had 3 offers. 3. Tommy Houck, 4 Power 6 offers. It was the Power 6 then, now the Power 5. And his mom has said, I don't even think that the 4th Power 5 offer, which was Illinois, was serious. Like Illinois offered like a couple weeks before signing day. And they didn't think, he's not actually going to take us. And I don't think Florida felt like they were going to lose, but it gives you an idea of like the mentality. And that's the thing. Like, so they're playing UConn, and it's the 2-time defending national champs with McDonald's All-Americans on their team. And that Silk's still right. Like talent still won out because that's how good the evaluations were by this staff. Like they saw Tommy Houck play and they said, that guy looks like potentially an NBA player. I talked to a scout from the Hornets about Tommy H, and he said, that guy's a guard in the NBA. And I just started laughing. And he goes, have you seen him handle the ball? Have you seen him shoot? Have you seen him drive? Imagine what he'll do in the NBA with all that space. And I was like, wow. So imagine getting that kind of evaluation right, where you've got a 6'9" guy who plays the 4 for you, who NBA scouts think is a guard, right? Alex Condon, obviously they saw somebody that hadn't played basketball a lot. I've made the Joakim Noah comparison to that eval a lot because it tracks. Joe Kim picked up basketball late. And so he got better in ways that people don't usually get better because he was getting reps. And then when he's getting better, and Jordan could speak to this, he's at like an SEC school with strength and conditioning and nutrition and all that stuff, right? So there are a lot of high school seniors that are making that jump then, even when they make a jump, because they don't have access to the thing that Alex has access to. So they just hit on so many of these evals. I saw people tweeting about like, oh man, this Florida second team would make the NCAA tournament. They're backups. And it's like, all right, let's not undersell what a job they did putting this roster together. Like this is just hit after hit after hit. But it's also the commitment to developing these guys too. Like the fact that Carlin Hartman is one of the best big man coaches in America. The fact that Billy Donovan thought so highly of Torian that he said, you know, if you want to go home, I understand. I will call Todd Golden and tell him he should give you a job because I think you're one of the best young development guys in the NBA. Right. So all of that, it all comes together, you know, and yeah, I mean, they play with that chip on their shoulder because they know they play for Todd too. This guy gave us a chance to play in the SEC. And so, like Elijah said, what a gift that is, right?
So just watching the game, how do you feel, or who do you feel can possibly give us a real run for our money in the tournament? Obviously, Duke is a really good team. I feel like they match up well against us. But other than that, I am happy that we kind of got our stinker out the way. Like, I don't feel like we played our best game against UConn. I think we could have shot better. I think we could have rebounded better. I think we could have done a lot of things better as a team. But just moving forward, who are you kind of concerned with in the tournament and stuff like that?
I would just say I think I said when the bracket came out. I thought the Maryland game, if they played Maryland, would be the hardest game they play.
Okay.
Maryland is the Crab Five. They call their starters. They only play 6 guys legitimately. They play a 7th guy, but he'll play like 5 minutes Thursday. They play 6. Their starters are going to play 30 to 35 minutes. They're 2 big men. Derik Queen is going to be a lottery pick. He's from Baltimore. He's a problem. And he's going to be a big challenge for Alex Connon and Tommy Houck. And then Julian Reese.
Wild Montverde Academy team.
That the stupidest, that team could have made the NCAA
team ever.
That team could have made the NCAA tournament.
They're all in it now.
They are, and a lot of them haven't gone home yet, right? But no, so Queen, and then Julian Reese, who is like a not flamboyant and outlandish version of his little sister.
Okay.
But has been around forever. He's tough as hell. Like he's the first guy that Ruben Chenuli won't just be able to body without any real issues. Like, so their front court will challenge Florida. And so then it becomes Maryland shoots the 3 really well. They shot 38% on the year from outside. Very good 3-point shooting team.
Yeah, that's good.
So can Florida do what they like to do, which is prevent you from even getting those 3s up? And then are Florida's guards that much better? And then what happens when Maryland gets into foul trouble, which they will. In all of their losses this year, that's been the issue, except Michigan State, where Michigan State hit like a 60-foot shot at the buzzer. Even in that game, they played the last few minutes with 3 guys with 4 fouls. So, Florida can wear them down, but that's a game where the Gators don't want to get behind. I mean,
I feel like that's what I'm saying. I'm kind of glad that we got the stink one out the way, because if there was to get stink against these boys, there's no coming back like we just did.
That's right. Maryland's so good defensively that they will snuff it out. If they get a big lead, that'll be curtains. I think this is Florida's toughest game potentially until the final against Duke. I really believe that.
That's a much-watched game.
What do you think about that buzzer beater by Maryland? You think that was a travel? It looked like a walk to me, man.
Yeah, it was a travel. It was a travel.
What would be the argument? Yes, I saw Doug Gottlieb saying it wasn't. He probably should worry about winning his own basketball games, but it wasn't a travel because it's a gather. I don't know if that's an NCAA rule where you're not going to count,
I love it.
Your gather.
I love it. Doug is a college coach, and he doesn't realize that there's no such thing as a gather.
Right. He was going after it was Peter, I forget his name, works for ESPN.
Pete Thamel?
Yeah. No, not Pete Thamel. Peter Burns.
Burns.
Oh, that's a travel. And then Doug shot in like, no, it's not. And I was like, Doug.
Yeah, it was a
That's
travel.
why they were like 3-28 this year, Nick.
Yeah. Well,
maybe the gather stat.
Maybe Doug's team should travel more.
It was definitely a travel. Look, the question in college basketball is, when does the dribble end? Does that make sense? Like,
no.
So once the dribble ends, in the NBA, the gather rule is like the dribble ends and you gather the ball, right? So there's no gather in college. It's just, when does the dribble end? You start counting steps. So it was 3.
Yeah.
From when the dribble ended.
3 long ones too.
So it's a trap. I texted a couple refs. Yeah, I texted a couple refs yesterday, and they were like, "Yeah, that was a travel." I saw Matt Norlander from CBS. He tweeted the same thing out. Like, yeah, I was texting the head of refs of the Big Ten. He said, "Yeah, that's a travel." So he got away with one, and it sets up an epic matchup. Colorado State, Florida was a mismatch, man. So
I was looking forward to it.
World of Florida
the only thing that I think that potentially allowed us to avoid was like a 10:09 tip off if Colorado State was playing, just because they try to get that crowd in there. I had a tough time. Neil, you know that I'm a casual when it comes to basketball. I have no problem admitting that. I wasn't very good when I played. I was always the guy that
was nose ball
near the end. I was a passer, right? I have a really tough time with
that's not a position.
Just stood at the top of the key every once in a while. I got to fire one off. Neil, one question that I have, and maybe you can help me. There was a foul called on Ruben Chinaloo where the guy from UConn like landed on him, jumping over him to get a ball.
Classic over the back.
Yeah, classic over the back, and he landed on Ruben Chinaloo, and I'm struggling with some of like that kind of call. So do you know what I'm talking about, and could you explain to me why that's a foul on Ruben?
Yeah. Well, that was a bad call. So
okay, good. All right.
You're not struggling with anything that's
ball knower, Dan.
Yeah. I think. Yeah. I mean, I think so. You can undercut a rebounder who's making a play on the ball, even when you're like, I guess the thought would be maybe he was to the side of him, but it wasn't even close, right? It wasn't. Florida lost the game when I was a wee lad to Gonzaga. That at least the play was close, like Casey Calvary. Now, don't tell Brent Wright it was close,
okay,
or UD. But
all right, I'll put it.
The Gonzaga player comes over the back and gets the run in the putback, and so Florida lost in the Sweet 16. This wasn't. I mean, that was a preposterous call. So no, you didn't miss anything there.
Okay.
There's another one where Will got a foul. He slipped on a wet court, and a guy ran into him and tripped over him while he was on the floor after slipping. He got a foul. And then there was one. I think Bobby Hurley instructed his team to flop on what turned into they ended up calling a flop. But they're both guys went flying as if they were hit by an F-150 doing 60. Trying to get off it like as Florida's trying to inbound. And he lost it. I was surprised several times. It's really cool when you sit courtside how much you can hear. Surprised several times that he didn't get teed up. And there was a couple times where the ref just like turned to him and was like, shut up. Like, stop, done.
Yeah. There the times this year that I thought Todd Golden was like precariously close to getting a technical foul and did not. And Danny has a few this year, so he clearly crosses the line. I don't know what Todd does. I don't know if he just asks. Does he ask them about their family before the game, or who knows? But yeah,
Saw that
Todd
picture
is
of your daughter.
so far
awesome.
really good
great. Really
at
growing
towing that line.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because like Todd's animated, man.
Yeah.
Now you were there. I mean, like Todd, there are things that he's fiery. We get Pat again, he'll finally snap. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad, I think that Danny Hurley acted like a clown. I think after the game, his comments to Baylor were clown-like behavior. And then to talk about going out with honor and then to blame refs. It just, I don't know. He just seems like a real loser to me. But Neil, I know that you've got some time commitments and we really appreciate you coming on the show. You can follow Neil at NW Blackman on Twitter or X. Go listen to the Florida Basketball Hour with him and Eric Fawcett. It is going to be the best breakdown of Florida Gators basketball. Two very, very intelligent, smart guys. So, Neil, we appreciate you coming on the show once again.
And as a podcast, we all wish Lizzie a happy belated birthday. Hope you guys had an awesome weekend together celebrating her birthday.
Yes.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you all. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thanks, Neil.
Blessings, bro.
All right, gang. Let's get a quick ad read in for our friends over at Home Field Apparel. Go visit homefieldapparel.com. Get the shirt that Nick is wearing. Or go get, they have the starter jackets back, or their home field jackets. They look like starter jackets. Those are back in. A bunch of new things dropped for basketball. They have a corduroy hat as well. So go visit homefieldapparel.com. Use promo code Stadium and Gale at checkout. Get 15% off of your order. Again, homefieldapparel.com, promo code Stadium and Gale.
I was trying to get, I was doing my normal social media promotion, trying to get that starter jacket. Did not happen. If you're listening to this,
don't send it to Nick
for home field, but
don't send it to Nick. No, you already finagled a free.
Also,
this guy's a merch grifter, man.
Yeah, he's still holding on to a bunch of cups that belong to us.
They're all at the office. They're at the office.
Nick's gonna start giving them out to.
We was all right by the office. Why you ain't give us?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It wasn't there. We were supposed to have them before the Lagway event, and they unfortunately came later. My wife will start giving them out at her job. So
no, she won't. That's the thing, is she won't.
She won't.
So go visit Home Field Apparel, and we'll talk about Game Time Sidekicks here in a minute, guys. Any final thoughts on basketball before we move on? Again, the first game will be on around 7:00 on Thursday.
I still got my. Oh, go ahead, Nick.
We got blessed. It could have been a 10:39 tip.
That's what I'm saying. If we were playing Colorado State, I had a feeling that they were going to throw that 10:00, 10:39.
So blessings to us here on the East Coast. That 10:30 tip is demon hours. No need for that.
That's a fact. I'm still changing baby butt around that time.
Oh boy, I'm out of it at 10:30. I ain't even gonna lie to you. It's watch days, boy. I'm deep in sleep.
I wish my son's up before the sun is up, and I mean that.
Trying to tell you.
But yeah, last thoughts on my take for the Gator basketball is, guys, I have them to make the Final Four. Put my dollar on it. And I sprinkled a little something for him to win it just for my Gator pride. But
a little sprinkling?
It's a little sprinkle on it, but I put a little something more to make the Final Four. So your boy's all in. And if anybody on this show ain't all in like I'm all in, I don't even want to say it. But yeah, still love y'all. But we should be all in. We love the Gators, y'all. Stop it.
Yeah.
Hey, I like I think Maryland's a decent team. I think they're a good team. Not decent. I think they're a good team, man. And I just don't think they're deep enough. I just think our bench and our is just gonna be a problem for everybody. Duke is Duke. Duke is loaded. That's gonna be that's probably like on talent. They're probably the best team in the tournament, right?
I think
but
so.
It's just, yeah, but them natties, bro, like they just come. You need some grit to get them natties, bro. Like to win these tournaments, you gotta have a different type of grit, bro. So I like us to beat Maryland. It's not gonna be an easy game. Don't quit at halftime. If we're down by 1 or 2 points, or if it's tied like y'all did this week, do not lose your minds. It's okay.
Jeez.
It's tournament. Like,
dude, I'll be honest with you,
tough, man.
Yeah, dude, watching the timeline, especially that For You timeline that pops up, and it's like a bunch of people that I don't follow. But I don't know how half of Gator Nation, and maybe they are, isn't on some sort of 20 milligram pill of blood pressure medication that they have to take multiple times a day. So just enjoy it. Like if the team's down, it's not a terrible job by the team. Like it happens. Like there's a team fighting for a national championship on the opposite side of the court. Like just enjoy, do your job as a fan, right? Like you can, be passionate, but geez Louise.
And Rob S, I see your comment about my green screen. If you want to see my green screen live, join my Twitch, Scarlet Fever Inc. How about that? Hey. I know it's not up, buddy.
So the Gators will play Maryland. The winner of that game will play the winner of the Texas Tech and Arkansas game, and the winner of that will represent the West region in San Antonio for the Final Four. So 4 SEC teams still. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There is 7. That's what I thought originally. So 7 SEC teams still left out of 16. So SEC holding strong. All right, guys, you want to get into Nick? I guess we can talk a little bit. Let's just give a quick rundown on some news and announcements here. The Gators are going to host Furman, Billy Napier's alma mater, on September 2nd, 2028. That got announced. Women's basketball beat UNLV at a buzzer beater in the second round of the WBIT tournament, which is the women's NIT equivalent. The assistant basketball coach, Kevin Hovde, H-O-V-D-E, Hovde, is going to be the new head coach at Columbia. I think he'll stick around with the team through their championship run, and then he'll head over there. Women's gymnastics is going to be ranked 3rd in the upcoming NCAA championship. I think they had the best performance of the year, if I remember reading that correctly.
3 10s, yeah.
Yep, 3 10s. And then baseball, we'll talk about them in a second. Softball went 30-4, beating their record's 30-4. They beat UCF, split a series with number 2 Texas this season. And then finally, I forgot to write this down. Luke Poulter, who's the son of Ian Poulter, who is on the golf team, got his first ever collegiate victory this past weekend. So congratulations to him. And then Nick, let's get into baseball.
What's going on with baseball, Nick? Because
it's stinky over there right now.
Yeah.
You hyped us up, bro. You did it again.
No.
You did it again, man.
There's an actual meme that tells you I don't hype the team.
Yeah, but you tweet that often after they win, so I feel like there's not like truly mean,
which lets you know that I don't overhype baseball.
I just don't really think that that's how that meme works, because they'll win a game like 13-1, and then you post it, and it's like, well, I'm getting mixed signals here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I don't overhype them.
I let you set my baseball expectations annually. You know what I'm saying? You came on here.
The expectations every year are the same. The expectations are to go to Omaha, which is it's a wild expectation, and that's what I've kind of like told fans about. Like there's 300, a couple over 300 teams, 300 and change teams, and only 8 of them get to go to Omaha. It's really tough to get there. Mike Martin got there
A lot of times.
11
24?
times, something times, never won. Like, it's tough to win the last
boy,
base.
we getting spanked like Omaha.
Yeah, but let's
never
call it
even
spanked.
an option. The way we getting spanked,
Yeah.
bro. Every time I cut on his basketball scores, I'm like, bro, what is going on, bro?
You can't let Jordan
rulers
3 back-to-back.
Yeah. So let's run through. So there's some injuries. It's not like you lose your starting center fielder against Miami. You've lost
kind of nasty too.
Yeah, you've lost 3 guys in the bullpen. 2 are freshmen. One you knew who wasn't going to start because he tore his UCL, Tommy John ligament, tore his UCL towards the end of his senior year. So you knew he wasn't going to be out, but he's 6'6", freshman who would have pitched this year. You lost another freshman, Josh Rittenauer, right during the spring. That's a guy who would have been in the bullpen that you would have seen before some of the guys who are coming in and getting lit up. You lose your best left-handed arm in Frank Menendez for Tommy John. He's out for the year. This weekend, Liam Peterson, his arm is sore, so he gets scratched from his start. You're already missing Pierce Capala, who I think is going to forego having shoulder surgery to try to rehab. He's starting to throw this week, doing a throwing program to hopefully get back, but that's a sack. Basically, this weekend you had one guy starting on the weekend who was an opening week starter on the weekend, Nick Clemente, and he's already missed time with back issues. So they're just banged up. Your starting second baseman's only played half the games. You lost Ty Evans for about a week and a half. Like they're just banged up.
Yeah, when you put it like that, it makes a little more sense. I think I don't know.
I didn't watch any of the games. Yeah, I didn't watch any of the games live. I went back and watched. Shout out to Wheels on YouTube. I don't know how his page is still up. He puts all the games up, takes out all the dead time, takes all the dead time.
He's not gonna be up now. Like you snitched on him.
No. I've been promoting Wheels for years. I've been promoting Wheels for years, and my guy is just a 3-hour baseball game, 13 minutes on YouTube.
Hell yeah. That's kind of baseball I like.
Yeah,
so I went back and watched all the games, and like the hitters aren't making adjustments. They're getting pitched. So in baseball, you need to make adjustments between your first at bat and your second at bat, your first and your third, your second and your third. Florida got pitched the same way all weekend and didn't make adjustments, and they're striking out and flying out. I don't know that they have. Obviously, the team is built differently, and I like the way that they're built. They can score in multiple ways. Last year, it seemed like everyone was trying to be like Jack Caglione and hit a 7-run homer 500 feet, and that's not everyone's game. They've just got to figure it out. They've got to get guys going. Luke Heyman has really gotten going, but you got to get Ty Evans going. You got to get Blake Sear going. Bobby Bozier was in a massive slump. He was 1 for 22 before the weekend with 10 strikeouts. He had a good weekend, but you just got to get guys going. And right now, nobody's going. And sometimes hitting is contagious. And when no one's hitting, that becomes contagious. So you're really banged up on the mound with not a lot of answers because a lot of these injuries are either season-ending or long-term. So you need other guys to step up. Aiden King, I think he gave up 4 or 5 earned on Friday. That's going to happen when you're 18 years old and you're pitching on Friday night in the SEC, but he's a stud. And you get Liam Peterson back. I really like the 1-2 punch of Peterson Friday, King Saturday, and then you're going to have to figure out Sunday. Tomorrow or today, depending on when you're listening to it, Florida, FSU, and Jacksonville. I won't be there. I'll be at football. That might be an ugly game. FSU lost their midweek starter to an injury. They're scuffling a little bit. That might be a football score tomorrow up there. Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully they can turn it around. Still a long season ahead. Gators are ranked 19th in one poll and unranked in another. Just got to get some victories. Just tough to see the team 0-6 in the SEC. Just not used to that. But
it never happened before.
Yeah, never happened. So the Gators did play 2 pretty formidable opponents in Tennessee and Georgia to start the year. Obviously, a bunch of other formidable opponents in the SEC, but hopefully they can turn it around. Let's give one more shout out to our friends over at Game Time Sidekicks. We were chatting about them before. If you're looking for a cup, go visit GameTimeSidekicks.com. Use promo code Stadium15 at checkout. Or I guess if you see Nick's wife around town, you can just get one free from her. But go visit GameTimeSidekicks.com. Use promo code Stadium15. It's going to keep your hot drinks hot, cold drinks cold. Really cool designs. Always creating new products out there. So highly recommend, not just because they sponsor the show, but I literally use these cups every day. And I think these are, 2 or 3 years old, and they are still in pristine condition. So again, GameTimeSidekicks.com, promo code Stadium15. Boys were on spring break on the football team last week. Should be back at practice tomorrow.
Yes.
Which is Tuesday.
Yep.
So
yeah, the team actually, we can probably
Smelling like tequila.
We can probably
big time.
Smelling. Stop that. Just a bunch of good guys.
Lagway seemed to be doing like Lagway was locked in doing wholesome stuff, bro. So he's out there with AR, rehab.
Also, I don't know that he's that much bigger than AR. I think that was an angle. That's my guy, Tommy.
Hey, nah, man, don't deflate our lives.
That's my guy. That's my guy, Tommy Gormley, in between them, who's a PT. Thoughts go out to Tommy. His dad passed away last week down in South Florida. Former high school teammate. But he's doing well as best as you can considering the circumstances. But yeah, he works with AR, is working with DJ a little bit, rehabbing the shoulder. And I told him, I was like, hey man, really low awareness on your end right there. Not where you need to be in that picture. Tommy's not a small guy, but you don't need to be positioning yourself between Derik Jordan Lagway, and Anthony Richardson. If I'm taking a picture with them, I'm on the end. We're not.
Yeah, but you probably ain't got the same. Like he in his mind, he probably didn't even notice the height. That's how I be. Like I don't even.
No, it's not the height. Size. Tommy's like, bro. Tommy's like 6'1", like probably $190. I'm like in between two guys who are 6'3", 6'4", 220.
Pause. Get your ass away from me, nigga.
Jeez, Gordon. It's a family show, brother. It's a family show. All right. So Gators will be back at practice tomorrow on Tuesday. The Gators did. I don't know if it's been formally announced. It's definitely the news has been broken that former tight end coach William Peagler, who has spent the last couple of years at Arizona, he famously jetted after 1 year, convinced, I guess, his wife to move back to Gainesville. So he'll be in some role off the field, I would imagine. What I can envision is with Callaway stepping up.
Wife.
I'm sorry?
I thought it was the defensive coordinator's wife, not Peagler.
Peagler, I don't know that Peagler's married. You're thinking of
Tony, Tony's wife. That might sound right. Well, anyway, regardless, sorry for the slander to the future Mrs. Peagler. I'm sure you're going to love Gainesville. So with that, what my thoughts are is potentially you bring him back because Callaway's going to be, doing more from what we hear as offensive coordinator. Yeah, no, I know. But what I'm saying is his focus could be on the tight end. I'm just postulating here what his role could be. But again,
a little bit of everything, man. That resume is wild work, bro.
Yeah, I think he's on the offensive and defensive line. Yeah.
That boy's coached kickers, punters, offensive linemen, tight ends, running backs. Like he's a real
jack of all trades,
master.
Yeah. The team, hold on, I'm going to share this, Dan. We're not going to get in trouble for sharing this.
Very good.
Katie Turner shared this. They had a little home run derby. Here's Billy Napier. I don't want to speak out of turn. I think that's Tim Walton probably giving the front flips there.
Okay. Well, nobody can see the screen, so we'll let you know what our thoughts are.
I was sharing it.
All right.
Over here, man.
We'll do this. No, Nick, just what did you do?
I touched nothing.
There you go. All right, now you can hit the play button. Nick notoriously not following Katie Turner. Wow.
A little home run.
A little home run.
A little knock. I think I could take Napier in a slow pitch softball home run derby.
Okay. All right. Well,
we can raise some money for NIL. I think that's an event we could put on.
Yeah, I like that idea.
That's a good event.
I love that idea. I don't know how much money we would raise.
Millions. Has to be in the millions
figure
to
it
get
out.
out there.
Dozens of people, I'm sure, would be
Hundreds
itching
of
to come
dozens.
watch. No. Let's not get
Hundreds
carried
of
away here.
dozens of people.
Let's not get carried away.
You do the math.
About halfway through spring practice, March 12th or April 12th, I believe, is the spring game. So a couple more weeks before then. Anything you guys are itching to see other than Corey? I know you're going to say, man, stay healthy.
Health. That's
stay healthy.
That's my bag right there, bro.
Get healthy and stay healthy.
Get healthy.
Duck.
Yeah,
get healthy. Get healthy. We got a lot of guys out with banged up, bro. So that's my biggest. I didn't mean to cut you off, Nick, but that's my biggest concern right there is just getting out of this. QB1 is out, so I don't know if he starts throwing a little bit later in his camp. Not expecting it at this point. Defensive backs banged up. Defensive tackle banged up. Linebacker, we got some guys out there. So youth getting some experience is a good thing, right? We know what a lot of these starters can do, but some of those guys that are backing up the young freshmen at safety, even at defensive end with Jaden Woods, those guys better to get some reps. You may have to call on those young boys this fall, bro. So, just get back healthy. We need a healthy football team. We ended the season very banged up, and we still dealing with it. So, just getting healthy is the main thing for me, man.
Yeah, it's I was joking with Kevin Moore. They do a lot of like 7-on-7 stuff right now, and they're just like not able to rotate. And like I was in between the fields, so Devin was near the IPF, and like he's just covering deep post after deep post, and after like 5 in a row, I'm like, dog, can you tap at like what are we doing? Why are you back over here? He's like, bro, it's just what we have. This is what we have. I'm like, can you talk to your guy? Like, hey man, how about like a 5-yard dig? Can I get a hitch? We're just running I'm like it's a track practice out there for the DBs and the safeties.
Yeah, I personally love it, man. I feel like
I bet you do.
It's something that young dudes in this position probably never really get. Probably if all our starters is here right now, them boys are to be riding the bench, complaining, possibly wanting to transfer because they ain't getting enough PT, getting enough time. I ain't even thinking about seeing the field. So now as a young player in the defensive back room, you got a chance to showcase your talent, put more in your tool bag and your bag as far as getting more reps than you probably would have ever gotten any spring practice, whatever, or game, whatever you want to call it. You just got time to work on your stuff. And obviously you have more room to mess up because okay, let's just say you had a bad day at practice, coach chewing you out in the film room. So what? Usually if the room is deep and you playing stupid out there getting bombed or something like that, you will be watching the next day. You won't be out there with any more attempts of getting bombed. So what? You making a couple bad plays, you learn from it, you get a chance to go correct it again on the field, not correcting it, watching the next man do good. Because that's how it happens, especially in the SEC. Once you do bad a couple times, they ain't going to let you go out there and keep doing bad. They're going to put it in this next man up, especially if you're a young guy. So it really gives those young boys a time to kind of be able to mess up. Coach can go correct it in the film room, and then we can bring it out back on the field the next day. And you know that you're going to have chance after chance to get it right. You getting more reps at it. You're seeing more route combinations. You just getting more familiar with the speed of the game. Because a lot of these guys coming from high school, they were the best player on the field. They didn't have to be fast and have to be smart mentally to be able to, they can make plays with making a mistake. You can drop to the wrong side and still make the play on the other side of the field because you're just that talented. It's not going to be like that each and every week playing this game anymore. It's going to be fast throws, fast catches, and fast dudes running. So, and big dudes running at you downhill. So, just seeing all that and having to deal with all that for our young guys, I love it right now, man. That's just showing me that we're going to be ready for the season. And I really don't care who's back there because, shoot, they should be ready. Look how much work we're getting in. And I feel like our backups, obviously DJ's not throwing or anything like that, but I feel like our backups can get these dudes as just as good as look as anybody in the country because I feel like we got a lot of good things. Receivers has a depth, like an amazing depth. Anybody out there can go start anywhere else. So yeah, I love to see that, man. Obviously, I don't want our guys banged up. I want the best guys on the field, but I'm just trying to make it positive, man, because it's definitely some good coming out of this. It doesn't look good right now because we all banged up and everything all over the place. It looks chaotic. QB1 not throwing, all type of mess. But I don't care.
That
If
line sounding good though, man. It's good buzz about the O-line.
I don't care if he don't throw one ball this spring. As long as that boy ready in September, say less.
Well, hopefully he's ready August 31st, but
Yeah,
also
you know what I
September, yes.
mean. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's LIU, so even if he's not,
Well, hope you're ready for the Hope you're ready for the
I want
Sharks.
them LIU reps. I need them LIU rep.
Yeah.
I mean the receiver room it's super deep, running back room super deep. I think the starting four that you have, and I'll even go 5 with Bryce Lovett, Fletcher Westfall's making an impact. I want to see almost called him Kingsley, Jason Zandamela come back. It'll be interesting to me to see. There's so many guys out who've had these nagging injuries. One, me, 19 to 22, I would be hot if my coach was like, "Hey, by the way, take your iPad with you on spring break, and we'll see you." In a week. Coach,
do you think that was the difference?
You ain't gonna see Nathan on those watch hours on the iPad this week, Coach. Nothing.
Do you think that's why they're playing Division I football and you transferred from D2 football?
No. D3 baseball.
Or baseball, I mean. D3 baseball. I'm sorry.
D3 baseball.
Do you think that could be part of the reason?
Maybe, potentially.
Yeah,
who's to say, Dan?
Yeah, who knows, right?
This isn't a revised history show. Who's
right,
to
yeah.
say? Where
my revisionist history, go listen to Revisionist History by Malcolm Gladwell.
It'll be interesting to see if anyone is back from being unhealthy to being able to get back and get some reps. Because I think it is really important to get Zandamela those reps. Rod Kearney can slide over there, but they're really just trying to let him just eat. Like, hey, take some off your plate. Enjoy just playing right guard, not having to worry about spending half your reps at practice at center and then half at right guard. And then, oh, shoot, we have an injury. Now we need you to flip the mirror around and go play left guard. And I think just allowing him to play one spot will help him because I think he's a hell of a player. He was a great interview on Stadium and Gale. Go check that out.
Yep.
But yeah, there's a bunch of guys who aren't healthy. I don't know that we'll see Pup Howard, but you're getting a ton of other reps. And to Jordan's point is this is the time where it's fine if you're not 100% healthy. You're like almost like when basketball had Walt go down and then Amart goes down. You're getting Urban reps and you're getting Denzel Aberdeen starts and reps. All these guys who weren't going to be getting reps or wouldn't have been getting reps if all the ones and everyone else was healthy. You will be better for it come fall.
Absolutely. So we'll have a more comprehensive approach. I think we're going to talk a little NFL draft the next couple of weeks with our guy Trevor Sikkema. So we'll definitely, continue to break down where we're at. Pro day is pretty soon, right, Nick?
Yeah, Thursday. I'll run through the list. So there's 20 guys, 18 guys from the team, and then blast from the past. My guy Max Garcia. We'll be working out.
I saw Michael Tarquin's going to be there.
I will pull up Joy.
Yeah.
Nah. I don't hung up. Please, man.
Hey, Max out there, bro. You might well pull up.
So Max had a bunch of like personal stuff going on last year, but he had played 9 straight years. Took last year off. He's been back here in Gainesville working out. I've talked to him a couple times. Had him come by the office. He wants to get year 10. I think obviously probably a point of personal pride to hit that kind of benchmark. 10 years in the NFL. I think it is
on the show. I know, man, so I can hit him up.
Shoot, I was texting Max today. I'll see Max tomorrow.
Nick, I looked it up. 10 years.
Talking to Max ain't even discussed the show. Like,
I know, I'm telling you.
Good job, Nick.
But
good job, Nick.
I think, Nick, I do think one of the things that is important to note is for Max Garcia, if he plays 10 years, he's eligible for a lifetime pension. So
your 10 be pretty dope.
I know it starts at 3 years or 3.1 or 3.2 years and then goes up. But I think that 10-year is a big delineation. for what that could mean for a lifetime. So certainly wish him the best of luck as he comes back. So Nick, you said that you had the
list.
You got the list.
Yep.
Okay, give us the list.
Elijah Badger, Triquez Bridges, Cam Carroll. I've seen him working, getting back. He's obviously gone through a ton.
Yeah.
He can get back to be able to run. He's going to try to do anything he can do. Jeremy Crawshaw, not sure what punters will do, but he'll be there. Brandon Crenshaw, Dixon, Chim DK, DJ Douglas, Jaquavion Fraziers, Cam Jackson, Shamar James, Montrell Johnson Jr., Jason Marshall Jr., Graham Mertz. Excited to see Graham Mertz coming quickly off of the ACL surgery. He's going to go through, I think, from what he's told me, like a regular pro day.
Okay.
He's been moving with and without a brace coming back. So excited to see him. RJ Moten, Joey Slackman, Des Watson. Looking forward to the 40 and the bench press. That might
You
be
like
like
Des Watson or is
Might
it
outrun
Des
Treppo.
Treppo?
Y'all please lay off my boy X, bro.
Yo, Des might get X, at least in the 10.
If
At least in the 10.
Dez break under 5, we gonna feel it down here in South Florida. It'll be an earthquake.
If
100%.
Des runs what Restrepo runs, Corey will get banned.
Why is
100%.
Restrepo being
We'll get banned on Twitter.
No.
100%.
We'll be on the backup account.
100%.
I know I'm a Gator boy, but that's a little dirty, bro. Y'all
I get it.
No, I like
that.
it. I like it. I
And
think
listen,
he got game.
shout out to Nick Hicks. Like, that's not Nick Hicks.
Nah, that
guy.
wasn't Nick Hicks. He was training with Bomarito.
Oh, he should have trained at
yeah.
Perform then. Should have been at Perform. You wouldn't have run like a fourth round linebacker. Jamarcus Weston and then Derik Wingo. I think Derik Wingo's got a 4.8 in him too.
So I know Jamarcus Weston almost left early to go to the NFL. I think that's what was said. But I think he could have a potential. No, I'm thinking of Jaquavion Frazier that I think could have a potential special teams career in the NFL.
No, Weston would probably the one the special team potential for sure.
What? Okay,
He's just
Then maybe
straight
we
out
didn't-
big and fast.
Yeah. Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Weston.
What position is he going to try out for?
Special teams.
Special, just all of it, just gunner. Just have him running
Yeah.
from the 25-yard line to see what his reaction is when the ball goes over his head.
Gunner drills. Straight gunner drills, man. That's all I'm here for, bro.
Before they catch it.
I love it. Well, we'll talk about those results next week on Stadium and Gale. Obviously, we'll talk about basketball, and hopefully, we'll talk a little bit about the NFL draft, which is coming up in about a month. A little bit less than a month. Yeah.
One more pro day take. If I was any of those guys that ran, like if I'm a Gator that ran a 40 at the combine, I'm not rerunning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't rerun once I ran at the combine. I left it where it was at. I mean, honestly, I personally feel like if you're fast, you should run because you're going to get a better hand time than you did laser. But if you're not fast, what you fighting for 1 second for?
Right.
But if you about to knock off something, possibly you can clock a 4.3 low like that.
Yeah, like Chim's not going to rerun. Like he ran a 4.3 at the combine. Why rerun?
Right.
He ran 4.3 laser. You're
exactly. He could probably go bust something crazy on the hand time, but it's not really necessary.
I would, but like Badger needs to run.
Right, that's somebody who can actually benefit from the hand time. Like
Badger ran like he probably could knock it down a little bit. He probably could.
I would expect him to run. He didn't put up a number that he probably loves and wants to stand on. Like I talked to Cam Jackson.
4.4.
Yeah, you're gonna run faster hand time, and I don't like. It's like what I'm saying is like what Jordan said. He didn't run a time that he's like, yeah, baby, I'm good. Like I can beat that hand time, and I didn't knock anyone's socks off at the combine. Like Chim, no sense.
No, he got a vibe.
Hey man, the lasers might have been off. Let's not tempt fate. But like Triquez Bridges has to run. A guy like Jamarcus Weston is gonna be huge for him. A guy like DJ Douglas is huge for him. I don't know. Did Shamar run at the combine?
Like I love them guys, but there's nothing they can do at this pro day to get. Like, what is DJ Douglas gonna do? Run a 3.9?
Yes, that would get you drafted.
Yeah, I sure will.
I'm not even trying to like joke. Like he would have to do something incredibly crazy at his pro day to get like drafted.
Nah, for sure. But his pro day could probably get him, you feel me? A little training camp invite. You feel me? Yeah. Everybody need just an opportunity guy. You feel me? I just give me a chance, man. So it ain't impossible. Them boys' hopes ain't up yet. They definitely just got to go there, show up and show out, show your effort, show you in shape, be ready to do above and beyond. So it ain't over for
somebody's
everybody.
gonna see Weston and think they can fix him. He's
going to have an incredible pro day. Jaquavion Fraziers and Jamarcus Weston will have incredible pro days. They are gym warriors, who will jump out of the IPF. They will run with like the DeLorean with fire coming off the tires.
And they're gonna feel comfortable being back in their own spot, lifting off their own bench and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Those are guys who will win the day tomorrow. Then you gotta put 5 years of film on, but they will win the day tomorrow.
Tomorrow or Thursday?
You know what he meant.
Well, no, I'm just clarifying for the fan.
Thank you, Jordan. This guy always coming at me, Jordan.
Well, no, this is just about being a factual podcast. I don't want people glued to Twitter tomorrow taking a day off to follow your tweets about pro day, and it's actually on Thursday, and all of a sudden we get hate mail and people wanting restitution for skipping work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm gonna be down there though, Nick. I might probably pull up on you.
I'll be there. I think I might be on the field and not over where the rest of the media is. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I'm gonna be on the field. I'm working out like Max.
Got that 5'1" coming.
You feel me? I definitely will pull a little 4.8 right now, bitch. I ain't
okay.
How long?
You think you're faster than Xavier Restrepo right now?
Off the couch.
Leave my boy alone.
No, I mean that's what you said. That's just what you said.
I probably could pull off a little song right now. I don't know how good it'd be. I probably got a good one in me. Then that hard to get the racing.
Do you think the second run would be a hamstring pull?
Very, very likely. I'm a lot of old fashions in since working out. These muscles got nothing but liquor in it now.
Liquor's a good filler.
Who do you guys think is the first Gator drafted?
Good question.
That's a great question.
Thank you.
Really good question.
So I think I think your options are probably between Brandon Crenshaw, Dixon, Jason Marshall.
Yeah, I was thinking O-line. Yeah.
They're just not ranked super high. Like when you look at a lot of the draft buzz, but it really only takes obviously. I don't think we're going to have a round 1 or round 2 guy. I think Brandon Crenshaw Dixon is my pick for the first off the board. Maybe.
Yeah, I think we got a
third or fourth round.
Yeah. Round 3, maybe late round 2 for being nice. But
yeah. I mean, it don't take.
I think DK be the first to come off. Man, I think that 40 was impressive. He had a good workout. His solid. Yeah, put me down for DK in like maybe third round type. And second, I got Cam Jackson. Like I don't know if I'm off there a little bit, but I think Cam Jackson tested well, size, multiple years of film. I think Cam Jackson either for me, Cam Jackson or Chim DK.
Yeah,
I think late third is the earliest we'll see someone go. But that's why I said, like, I don't know. I would say over under 2.5 Gators drafted in the first 2 days. I might take the under.
Yeah,
first 2 days.
I think once you start though,
first 2 days is 1 through 4.
Right.
And then day 3 is 5, 6, 7. Or is day 3? 4?
No, I like us to get 3.
Yeah, I'm about to say. I think once it starts, it's gonna keep going.
Yeah, I think Dixon, Brandon Crenshaw, Dixon, Cam Jackson, Shim DK, And then I guess Jason Marshall.
Yeah, that's 5.
Either Marshall or Badger, one of the
Or
two.
Badger, yeah.
Or one of the two, I think, could go like.
So two over-unders. Over under 2.5 drafted within the first 2 days, which is the first 4 rounds, and then over/under. Answer that one first. I was on the under there.
I'm going under. I think we have some 7th round guys that could sneak in, like maybe a Montreal Johnson. I don't
think
know.
Montreal's a 6th round guy.
Yeah, I think he's a 6th or 7th. I mean,
Badger's a day 3 guy.
Let's run through the list here real quick. These are just the combine guys, because these are probably the only guys that are going to get drafted, right? So you have Graham Mertz, probably undrafted, right? Especially after injury. Montreal Johnson, 6th to 7th round, maybe.
Yeah.
I think
Elijah
Montreal gets
Badger.
drafted.
Say again?
I think Montreal, he tested very well.
I think he gets drafted, but I think he's 6. He's a 6, 7.
5 or 6, I think.
Yeah, I got him like 5, 6 round. I won't be surprised if he goes 7, but I don't think it's.
Jordan knows that position is just not valued, and you're a guy with a ton of wear on your tires. A ton of wear on your tires.
A ton? I wouldn't say a ton.
A ton.
I mean, he played 4 years, right? He did all 4.
Yeah, he did play all 4. Yeah,
he's got.
Billy's very nice for sharing that thing, bro. He never really was a bell cow for us any of those years.
Well, he had only 100 attempts last year, but didn't play a lot. Missed 3 games.
He had some injuries that may knock him down though.
He had 152, 162, 155. He's got over 500 carries. Right around 500 carries in 4 years. He's got a lot of wear on his tires, and then just had never had injury problems, and then had 2 injuries his senior year. It's just not a position that the NFL values. They've literally changed the game, the rules, to benefit passing, to get more scoring, because it's more exciting and more people watch. But
the best teams in the league have good backs.
Yeah.
You need a running game to win, bro. I think Montreal just tested very well. Like I do think he does got some stripes against him with injury, and he does have a lot of carries. But I just think he tested. It was like one of them generational tests. Like he performed very well in every workout. And then these guys value that stuff. We see guys that jump up the draft board that won't even know, that go running crazy 40 and they jump up. So I think it kind of balances out with Montreal. Right, I think there's some wear and tear there, but I think the film is really good. I think the 40 translate on film. Like when you see the Miami game, he got ghosts. You see the LSU game, he got ghosts. Like we've seen him go 0 to 100. Like so, the 40 time translate. He's balanced runner. He could pass pro. Like I don't know, man. I think he goes like 5th round. That's why I got him pegged at like 5th round.
Just looked up. Jordan, sorry to say this, but Shamar James ran faster than Xavier Restrepo.
Bro. I hope that
maybe we should put Shamar on him in the game. That's what we should have did, bro.
Should have. No, he's got that wiggle. He's got that wiggle.
Turner runs because he had Turner in the blender the whole game. We think Turner run about a 5.5.
No, Asa Turner's trying to come back.
He got hurt.
Yeah, he's hurt. Come back. All right. Hold on. You got any more Montreal Johnson thoughts?
No. I mean, like Silk's right. He tested really well. He's super productive. I'm not basing it on him. I'm basing it on I don't think the NFL values that position, and they will take him 5th to 7th, pay him 5th to 7th money, and then it's going to be hard to get a second contract unless you really ball out, because they'll just take another guy 5th to 7th who's now 4 years younger than you and pay him nothing, because they don't value the running back position in the NFL anymore. It's not against Montreal unless you're a Christian McCaffrey or a guy like that who was that dude in college for a team that won a ton. And
you're talking about the draft, bro. You gotta go for the second contract, bro. We're just talking draft. You already at second contract.
Yeah. Nick's jumping way ahead. We'll talk about that in March 24th, 2029's episode.
Yeah.
Elijah Badger, probably a late round guy. I think he could make an NFL roster potentially. But still probably a late round guy. Shim DK, guy that was probably not on any draft board before the Hula Bowl Hula Bowl, and then the Senior Bowl, and then the NFL Combine. He could certainly rise. Some mock drafts have him somewhere in like the 200 to 230 range in terms of draft stock. Brendan Crenshaw, Dixon, Cam Jackson, those are two of your higher rated guys. Shamar James did choose to leave with an extra year of eligibility left. Probably wasn't going to come back to University of Florida in that case, but did choose to go to the NFL. What are your thoughts on Shamar James and where he might get drafted?
I think he needs to run. He tested well everything but the 40, but I think he needs to run at that pro day and get that friendly clock. I thought his technique wasn't, like you could tell guys that went through track programs and got that sprinter, work ethic. You feel me? Some of these guys just know how to run. So I think he can better his time, of course, with the stopwatch. But he tested well outside of the 40. I think everything else kind of tested that he hits like what you see on film translated in the workouts as far as explosiveness. So I think he can make some money at the 40. But he is who he is. He's an undersized linebacker. He's not like as big, but he can get sideline to sideline. On tape, he covers pretty well. He's definitely put his face in the blender. He's down to come in there and play physical in the run game. I think he can play every down, but how much they value a guy like him, like if he had Weston size, like I will even put him higher because the likelihood of them using him on special teams being bigger would be a thing, right? So I think he's a mid-round guy, bro, like 5th, 6th round pick. But he need to better his 40 for sure this week.
Yeah, I'm pulling up. So he was 6'1", 222 at the combine. 8.5 hand, 31.5 arm. They had him his production score at 60 from the Next Gen Stats, which is the 24th ranked linebacker at the combine. Athleticism score, they had him at 63, which is the 25th ranked linebacker at the combine. That 4.69 40-yard dash, while it might make him a slot receiver at Miami, I think I agree with you, Silk, that he probably it wouldn't hurt him to run again. He's not going to run slower on the turf at the indoor on a hand time than he did there. He's only going to make his time better. Wouldn't be surprised if he ran.
Somebody always say they got Shamar first off the board. That's interesting.
Am I lagging to you guys?
Yeah, a little bit. How about this one, Silk? My guy Nature Gator, who loves me.
Marshall and Jackson in the 3rd round.
I don't think.
Marshall's definitely in the conversation. That injury, he still ran pretty well. He got good film. I thought he was had a great season until he got injured. Yeah, I take that back. Good go, Nature Gator. I like Nature Gator's take there. I like Marshall to be the first guy off the board. Now that we say that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm pulling up their thing. So his he ran a 4.49. Don't see him running again. Do you think he would run again?
I wouldn't. No, I think he's cool, man.
We'll get him a little 4.33.
I don't know if you're taking 4.4 to 4.3 unless Urban Meyer's got the stopwatch.
You see, that's what happened with Joe Hay. Joe Hay ran like a 4.6, and then
I'm about to say, bro, that
that
hand time to laser is literally can be a 2 whole seconds. So
it depends whose thumb. It depends whose thumb.
Yeah, you got some old behind scouts clicking that stopwatch, dude.
Jordan's like, you got some old white-haired people over there going,
boys ain't on point with it like that.
They're eating barbecue at lunch and slipped. Sorry, missed that one. Start. Yeah, I guess it is a 3.37.
Right. It's about right.
But Jason Marshall, his production score from the combine was the 33rd ranked cornerback. His athleticism score, how he tested, he was a 13th ranked. I think he's just unfortunate with the injuries, but he was having his best year before that season-ending injury. And I think you will look at the production he had before the injury. It's not really something like, it's kind of like a freak injury, shoulder. Like, listen, you're going to have shoulder injuries if you're tackling. Kind of a freak injury for him. Not really a pattern of, his shoulder's bum. Yeah, he could be the first one off the board. I think he's probably first off the board before Brandon Crenshaw Dixon, who had a great year. Somebody else here, I'm trying to find it. Tez,
man. I don't know how you got
Triquez. I'm thinking Teez Tabor, who's around. Bridges, I think he's a late pick, but I think he's a guy who will make a team because, and what I always tell guys, Jordan's probably heard this. The more you can do, the more positions you can fill, the likelier you're going to be on a 53. And he has shown he can play nickel, outside, safety, and you can probably put him on all 4 special teams. So he fills a lot of roster spots for you. I think I keep taking my hat off to him because he came here to play safety. He was not playing safety at Oregon. Wanted to come here to play safety. They gave him a shot. You had the injuries that you had at cornerback. And not only did he unselfishly go and do it and not say, nah, man, like I signed here to play safety. I need this safety film. Not only did he go and do it without pouting, but played at a high level when they put him there. So he's someone who I'm interested to see how he runs. He's super long, athletic. Interested to see how he runs.
He's always been slow.
Dan, you got off. Dan's still on that Obama internet, man.
No.
Dan's got that gerbil back. The gerbil running
on the library Wi-Fi, man.
This condo building's been having issues with the internet for the past few days, and all of a sudden you guys are stumbling on my end, so I'm just going to stay quiet here.
When you're on the 48th floor penthouse, it's tough to get the Wi-Fi that high. I get it.
Probably. I got to. I'll have to file a complaint. Let's see, who else did we miss?
But I will say this is a really exciting pro day. I think you're going to have some guys. Like last year, it was probably the worst pro day that I'd been at. I had people at NFL scouts and like assistant GMs ask me, is Ricky Pearsall going to run? Is he going to work out? And I just lied to him. I was like, yeah, he is, because they weren't going to come otherwise. They weren't going to show up.
They believe
I think this, yeah. Maybe they were there.
Ricky ran crazy.
They were there. But this is a loaded pro day. A lot of guys that like I said, I think Weston and Frazier will both test out of their minds. I'm interested to see if the Shamar run what does Jay Marshall do? What does Montrell do? Obviously, we'll be watching Jeremy Crawshaw intently throughout the entire time. Shout out to Jeremy, just got engaged.
Shout out to him.
Big ups to the
Crawshaw. Getting engaged. That's a monumental point in your life. So
yeah, and you get that green card, baby.
I think Thursday is going to be a good show.
Yeah, for that.
I think Thursday is going to be a good show.
I mean, just keeping it a buck, you know what I mean? Like,
he lying though.
No, I do think Jeremy Crawshaw does have a chance. Obviously, there's only 32
baby.
There's only 32 punters in the NFL, but I think Jeremy Crawshaw showed a lot, and there's a chance, right? You got to stay ready, and you got to be stateside if you're going to stay ready for the NFL. So
that's real.
I don't know how it works with international students, Nick. Maybe you can find out, but
work visa.
Yeah.
Well, he's not a student anymore. He's a graduate. He would have been on a student visa. I know that because when he did work with us with Florida Gators, he had to we had to do all of it when he was back home. But I think if he were going to go to the NFL or make an NFL roster, you're now on an O1 visa.
You are. Yeah. Yep. So they didn't join. I know way too much about visas working in the industry that I do. So we'll save you guys the details. Maybe we'll talk about visas next week. But well, with that, we will have a better idea of how everybody does next show on Monday. I hope everybody had a great show. Let's do one final ad, read our friends over at Alumni Hall. Go visit alumnihall.com or go visit them in Gainesville on Archer Road. Let them know Stadium and Gale sent you. But anything that you want, all of your football, golf, and every sport that the University of Florida has, go support them as well by buying it at Alumni Hall or at alumnihall.com. All right, guys, before I do my Saratoga sparkling water face dump before I go to the end of the night, any final things that you guys want to touch on?
Don't forget bananas, man.
Yeah. Got to rub the banana.
Yeah, where was your Saratoga, Dan?
More of a Fiji water guy.
Oh, okay.
Damn,
I just saw your picture on
Feed me
Twitter
if you
today. I thought you were going to have a. I thought you were
No,
gonna
I
lock in for the
I
show.
stole that picture.
Oh, I thought you were going to lock in for the
You know
show.
what I mean? No.
Well, it's not. Well, it's not like the Pappy photo. How you like
That was hella bananas, though. What you was doing with all the bananas, fam?
No, listen. Don't ask questions you don't want the answer to.
Yeah, Jordan. They weren't. First off, it wasn't my photo, and
Allegedly.
second, they weren't my bananas.
Allegedly.
What somebody would be doing with all those, I think, is just staging a photo. But
That's just.
I was thinking like a little smoothie or something.
Okay.
Right. Yes.
My face could use some work, all the work that it could need. So we got to put as many banana peels on there as possible.
Wild.
You know what I mean?
But man, just take a cold shower, bro. You ain't got to make like buckets and bowls of water. Just take a cold shower, bro.
Yeah.
Well, the
That's
only
your bad.
people who have time to do all of that are people who are literally only influencing on social media.
That
Nobody's
guy's a
got time.
genius, man. He got everybody talking about that, man. They did what it's supposed
Talk
to
of the
do.
town.
What's the talk of the town? You know,
If you don't know what we're talking about, in about a week or
Good for
two,
you.
it'll be on
Good for
Facebook,
you.
and then in about a month, it'll be on LinkedIn. So if you want to know,
you'll get it in a week, Nature.
Yeah.
Wait for it to hit Facebook.
Jeez. All right, guys, let's get out of here. I don't know who has song of the week.
That was me last week.
So does that mean it's me?
I don't know what the rotation is. I just know that I went last week.
All right,
Yeah,
well,
I don't know. We'll keep track of it going forward, man.
Yeah, we
Our song of the week rotation is about as healthy as Florida's weekend rotation right now.
So we'll
We dial in with football hit, bro. Right now, we just unfocused bunch, man.
Yeah. So we've got we'll play Circles by Audion and Ruby Prophet. It's a fun It's a fun song, a bit of a banger. So, all right, guys, we'll see you at the same corner, same time next week. Before you leave, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let us know. Oh, and if you're still listening, which I know you are, go to your podcast app, give us a rating. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you at the same corner, same time next week.